everyone, today I'm going to be doing my top 5 favourite books. I'm sorry if you can hear a ticking sound. I have an alarm clock in my room and it's really loud, so I'm sorry guys if you can hear that, but it's just the sound of a clock ticking. So the first thing I'm going to show you is my first favourite book, and it's called Let It Snow. Now I thought Christmas is nearly here, let's add a Christmas book in it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to read the blurb, the first page, and then give a review. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about the front cover in the review and how I liked this story. It's Christmas Eve and Gracetown has been buried by snow, but the weather is more than just an inconvenience. When one girl unexpectedly steps off a stranded train, she sets off a series of life-changing events. Soon 14 pumped-up cheerleaders will descend on the local Waffle House. The Duke's DVD night will be really interrupted for a Twister mission, and a lovesick barista will determine the fate of a single teacup pig. And all three stories collide, strangers cross paths, and romance blossoms with heartwarming consequences. So that's the first book I really like. It's got John Green, and it's just a couple of authors. So we've got John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. 3 holiday romances, and it's called Let It Snow. Now this you can buy all year round, strangely enough. It's not just a Christmas book. And I'm sorry, there's a little bit of lipstick on there. So the first thing is, let's just find the page. This is Jubilee Express, the first story. This is chapter 1. It was night before Christmas. Well, to be precise, it was the afternoon before Christmas. But before I take you into the beating heart of the action, let's get one thing out of the way. I know from experience that if it comes up later, it will distract you so much that you won't be able to concentrate on anything else I tell you. My name is Jubilee Dougal. Take a moment, let it sink in. See when you get it up in front. It's not that bad. Now imagine I was halfway through some long story like I was about to be, and dropped that one on you. By the way, my name is Jubilee. You wouldn't know that. What to do next? I realise Jubilee is a bit of a stripper name. You probably think I've heard the call of the pole, but no, it is. If you saw me, you get the pretty idea. I'm not a stripper. And I'm just going to read the last sentence. I think I have a little black bob. I wear glasses half the time and contacts the other half. I'm 16. I sing the choir. I attend mathletes events. I play field hockey, which lacks the unlit baby oil grace that is a stripper's stock in trade. I have no problem with strippers. In case any strippers are reading this, I'm not one. My major concern, strippers-wise, is the latex. I think latex is probably bad for your skin because it doesn't allow it to breathe. So that's the first page. Yeah, I like this book. I do find it a little bit boring, but it's a really good Christmas read. So if you're looking for a book to read on Christmas Day, I recommend this, or Christmas Eve, since the first story is about Christmas Eve. So yeah. Next book, just put that there. Next book is Wake, and I still have the label on it. The money thing. Anyway, it's called Wake. It's by Amanda Hockin. And I'm going to... Oh, I didn't do a review on that book, but I do like that book. It's one of my favourites. I think I said that already, actually. Strangers in the town for the summer, Pen, Thea and Lexi have caught everyone's attention, including the eye of practical Harper. But it's her sister Gemma they've chosen. 16-year-old Gemma seems to have it all, carefree, pretty and falling in love with the boy next door. But her greatest passion is the water. She craves solitary late-night swims under the stars, where she can belong to the sea, but lately she had company. Pen, Thea and Lexi spend their nights dancing and partying on the cove. One night, Gemma joins them. She wakes up groggy on the beach the next morning and knows that something has changed. Suddenly, Gemma is stronger, faster and more beautiful than ever. As she discovers her new mythical powers, Gemma is forced to choose between staying with those she loves or entering a dark world brimming with unimaginable secrets. So, first page. The engine made a bizarre chugging sound like a dying robot llama, followed by an ominous click-click, then silence. Gemma turned the key harder, hoping that that it would somehow breathe into life into the old Chevy, but it wouldn't even chug anymore. The llama had died. "You have to be kidding me," Gemma said and cursed under her breath. She worked her butt off to pay for this car. Between the long hours she spent training at the pool and keeping up on schoolwork, she had little time for a steady job. They had left her by stuck with babysitting the horrible Tenmere boys. Then they put gum in her hair, poured bleach on her favourite sweater, but she toughed it out. Gemma had been determined to get a car when she turned 16, even if that meant dealing with the Tenmers. Her older sister had gotten their father's old car as a hand-me-down. Harper had offered to let Gemma drive it, but she had declined. So basically, her mum is in like a care home, her dad is and her sister is more like the new mum figure, and she's a little bit bossy and she worries about it. And so basically I think turning into a siren or a mermaid or bird, whatever they are, because in this book they turn into birds as well as mermaids. I think there's a little bit more freedom for her so she can escape her older sister, who is, although she loves her older sister can be a little bit controlling. So I think it's like an escape for her, and I do love the front cover as well. Like, there is actually a second book, but I haven't got it, so I might get that and do a review for you guys. The next book is Jasmine Skies. Now, I can't actually pronounce the author's name, but I'll just show you there. That's the author's name there. So this is, as you can see, this book has been read more than once, and it's a little bit, falling apart. So Myra Leveson is bursting with excitement as she flies to India to stay with her aunt and cousin for the first time. As soon as she lands, Myra is hurled into a sweltering heat and placed full of a new sights, sounds and deeply buried secrets. From the moment Myra meets Janu, she feels an instant connection. He becomes her guide, showing her both beauty and the chaos of Kolkata. Nothing is as she imagined, and suddenly home feels a long way. So I love this book. I've read it when I went to Ireland. I read it. I read it all the time. I usually bring this one to read when I go on holiday. So I can't wait to grab the first page. I can't wait to grab my suitcase and walk through the other side. It's hard to believe that I finally arrived in India and that I, Myra Leveson, made it here all by myself against all odds. You think your mum would want to encourage you to visit the place where your granddad grew up, but it feels like it's been me who's had to make it happen. Well, besides me and Priya, my second cousin, who's the same age as me, and if it hadn't got in touch with each other through Facebook after Grandad died, I don't suppose I would be standing here now. I don't care how many times Mum tells me that the only reason she hasn't been back to India since she was my age is that her and my Priya's mum, Aunt Anjali, just lost touch. I don't believe her. When I finally persuaded her to start talking to Anjali, it seemed like to take them hours and hours of phone calls so they could finally sound like anything normal with each other. So yeah, I really like this book. I really like the way it's written. It kind of like, I've actually read the second book as well, or the first book, and this one is the best of all of them. I've actually read it 6 times, and I definitely recommend it. Also, tip 1, always read the first page and the blurb before deciding whether you would want to buy this book. Next is Rules of Summer. So here's Rules of Summer. I'm going to read you the blurb. As you can see, this is the cover, and it's by Joanna Philbin. Rory McShane signed on to be a summer errand girl for a wealthy family with an enormous beachfront mansion. She hopes she'll be able to sneak in some sunbathing too. Enter Isabel Rule, who's not only for sunbathing but set on having a breathless summer romance that her family would never approve of. Isabel has decided that this is the summer of taking chances, and she's dragging Rory along for the ride. When long hidden secrets start to surface, their friendship will be put to the test. So at first, they're not friends, but towards the end of the book they are friends. And then there's some twists and turns in this book, and I'm actually, after reading this blurb, want to read it again. But yeah. So I'm now going to read the first page again. She really should have just told someone, just dropped it casually into a conversation that last day of school when people were talking about their summer plans. Oh really, you're going to the tennis camp, you're spending a month at Wildwood. You got that internship in New York that you applied for 6 months ago. Well, that's great. I'll be spending the summer in the Hamptons. Rory looked up from her notebook and out the train window. She hadn't expected so many potato fields. But brown furrows lined with lush green potato plants passed by in a blur, and here and there, at the edge of the fields, a cedar shingled house stood watch. But these houses didn't look like old decrepit farmhouses. They looked like newly built mansions. They definitely weren't mansions on the chicken farm and dairy farms in Stillwater, New Jersey. At least, as far as she knew, there wasn't this radiant sunshine either. She thought, looking up at the cobalt blue sky. It probably hadn't had to do with the ocean to the south and the bay on the north, but she'd never seen light like this before. She wished she known how pretty it was here when she was trying to sell her mum on the idea, but probably wouldn't have worked. So yeah, I really like this book. It has a few twists, and I love book with twists, especially if it's a romance involved. So yeah, next book is the last book, and this is Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. 19-year-old Paige Mahoney works in the criminal underworld of, I'm not sure how to pronounce this word, London. Her job is to scout for information by breaking into people's minds. For Paige is a dream walker, a clairvoyant, and in the world of Scotland she commits treason simply by breathing. So it is set in the future London. So the first page is called The Curse, Chapter 1. I like to imagine there were none of us in the beginning. More of us in the beginning, sorry. Not many, I suppose, but there are more than there was now. We are a minority the world does not accept, not outside of fantasy, even that's blacklisted. We look like everyone else, sometimes we act like everyone else. In many ways we are like everyone else. We are everywhere, on every street. We live in the way you might consider normal, provided you don't look too hard. Not all of us know what we are. Some of us die without ever knowing. Some of us know and we never get caught. But we're out there, trust me. I lived in part of London that used to be called Islington since I was 8. I attended private school for girls, leaving at 16 to work. That was the year 2056, AS 127. If you use the Scoin Canada, I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It was expected of young men and women to scratch out a living wherever they could, which was usually behind a counter of one sort or another. There are plenty of jobs in the service. So yeah, I really like this book. It's also got a romance twist involved. Again, you know, that's one of my favourites about books, but they have that, and this has it and I love it. So thank you for watching my video, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time for my top 5 favourite films. Bye!